Good Sunday morning, and while official Washington is still consumed by the debt ceiling talks, we're going to take a step back this Sunday and look at a larger issue, the Supreme Court. It's never been more powerful in our lives or more broken when it comes to public trust. Just a quarter of Americans have a great deal or quite a lot of confidence in this court, a 50-year low. In the eyes of the American public, the justices' robes, they're no longer black, they're red and blue. And the political destruction of the court lies at the feet of another institution, the United States Senate. It has broken the judiciary and the Supreme Court. The role of the Senate in confirming federal judges, including Supreme Court justices, is technically, of course, advice and consent. And between 1789 and 1965, more than half of the nominees that went to Senate confirmation votes, 65 of 110, were confirmed on voice votes, i.e. the ayes have it. Just 3 justices in that period were confirmed with a margin of fewer than 10 votes. But since 1965, of the 22 successful nominees of the court, 6 were confirmed with less than 60 votes. All 6 of them are currently sitting on this current court, a nod to polarization. Of the 6 Republican-appointed justices on the court, just 1, John Roberts, a Bush appointee, was confirmed with more than 60 votes. All 6, by the way, were members of the Federalist Society, which is now the gatekeeper for Republican-appointed nominees. You cannot be nominated for any judgeship if you're not a member of this institution. The goal, to get justices on the court and judges on the bench who are as conservative as possible. They're not looking for umpires. The legitimacy of the Supreme Court depends on a public belief that justices, though, are impartial referees in the political battles that break out between the branches of government or ideologies, left and right. Just listen to what Chief Justice John Roberts promised during his confirmation hearing and what Clarence Thomas said the day after Bush v. Gore was decided.
It's my job to call balls and strikes and not to pitch or bat.
Whatever you do, don't try to apply the rules of the political world to this institution. They do not apply.
But those are sound bites from another era, aren't they? Now neither party wants a referee calling balls and strikes, or even to pretend that's the goal. Both parties want an activist judiciary in what has become a race to the bottom. Since the Bork nomination in the 80s, every move has been a tit for tat, and each party has rationalized its escalation in the judicial wars by claiming the other side did it first. Here's a stunning fact. The last time a Republican-controlled United States Senate confirmed a Democratic president's Supreme Court nominee, Grover Cleveland administration, nearly 130 years ago. In 2013, pushed by the obstruction of Obama's nominees to the federal courts in that moment, as well as the executive branch, Democratic Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid decided to go nuclear, in his words, ending the filibuster, the 60-vote requirement, for judicial nominees below the Supreme Court.
Aren't you worried Republicans will just get rid of the filibuster on the Supreme Court anyway?
Let them do it. Why in the world would we care? We were trying to protect everybody. I mean, do they want simple majority? Fine. I mean, all these threats about we're going to change the rules more. What is the choice? Continue like we are or have democracy?
Well, Democrats did learn to care. President Donald Trump worked with Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell to reshape the federal judiciary, appointing 54 federal appellate judges in 4 years, just one short of the 55 appointed in 8 years. In February of 2016, less than 2 hours after the death of Justice Antonin Scalia, 9 months before the election, 11 months before the end of Obama's term, McConnell made it clear that he would not even confirm a replacement before a new president had taken office. The Republican-controlled Senate went further and even refused to have a hearing on Merrick Garland, Obama's nominee for that seat.
One of my proudest moments is when I looked at Barack Obama in the eye and I said, Mr. President, you will not fill this Supreme Court vacancy.
And in 2017, when Democrats filibustered Trump nominee Neil Gorsuch for that Scalia seat, McConnell went further and he ended the filibuster for Supreme Court nominees as well. So changing the rules and allowing now one party to muscle through its nominees on all levels of the judiciary and able to reshape all the justices into partisan actors. And of course, paving the way for Trump to put 3 justices on the Supreme Court, the most by any one-term president since Herbert Hoover. Now unhappy with the ideological makeup of this court, some Democrats are arguing to change the rules again by expanding the number of justices on the court, or so-called court packing. The political destruction of the court has created opportunities for ethical failures as well. The justices have little accountability because their own partisans protect them, as in the case of Clarence Thomas. And as long as 50 votes is the threshold, more presidential candidates are comfortable dropping the pretense that justices should be impartial referees calling balls and strikes.
You replace a Clarence Thomas with somebody like a Roberts or somebody like that, then you're going to actually see the court move to the left, and you can't do that.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.